Hertz shirt. I see it's finally there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, live on YouTube, as we are every single weekend, and now twice a weekend. That's Saturday and Sunday. Saturday night, this is Fantasy Football Endgame. Chris behind the boards, working his magic as always. Chris, you have some new decorative pieces there. I'm not talking about the chessboard either.
QB4 right now, ladies and gentlemen. QB4.
Honestly, I have to admit, whether you're a fan or not, or whether you predicted great things for Jalen Hurts or a flop, you got to admit that's impressive considering he just came off a terrible game. And going against the Chiefs this weekend, you've got to think they're going to be in pass first mode. And if there's running to do, it's going to be with him. So, yeah, you got to be encouraged by Hurts. So any start-sit questions, can we just say this like right now? Chris, do you agree that any start-sit questions about Jalen Hurts, the answer is yes, Hurts?
I think with only a few exceptions, but yeah, if you're asking a quarterback question, you're probably not asking about one of those guys. So yeah, most of the time it's going to be yes, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, like, why are you asking anyway? So there's no point. Just we'll ignore it. Okay. We're going to get to all sorts of start-sit questions. Once again, we do this every Saturday evening in order to help you win, because that's our end game, right? That's our point. We want to give you some advice that will help. So a lot of difficult decisions looming this weekend. Before we get to the questions, and we're going to, again, try to get in as many as possible, but we have a limited time. And anybody who does want their question answered first, you want to jump to the front of the line. In other words, there's a super chat feature on here that is very helpful. We always try to get to those first. So super chat definitely is something worth checking out. If you're waiting, you want your answer right away. So the other thing is, guys, if you want your answers in a smaller setting, in a more extended time, we actually have our Sunday morning show now, which used to be our free show now, and that is for Patreons only. So if you want to check out that information in the description below, you can look for that. So click the link and just added some content there to the Patreon. Patrons only will get rest of season rankings updated every single week. So let's get to it. Before we get to the questions, some updates. Obviously, up until Sunday morning, things change. But right now, you should know that Gronk, who's been a beast, revival of the Gronk, no longer. He's out, ruled out. And also, what we're hearing now, just minutes ago, I saw that he's got multiple fractures. Could be out a while, several weeks. Chris, is that what it is? A few weeks? I don't know. There's not a definite timeline, but it looks like he'll be out indefinitely.
Yeah, I don't know if there's if they've said it for sure, but yes, for Gronk to miss this game against New England, he's got to be really, really injured for sure.
Exactly. So if anything, Tom Brady is going to try to throw for about 500 yards. You got to fire up all three of those Bucs receivers, especially with Gronk out there. So Gronk is out. That means you might need to pivot at tight end. Not a lot of great choices, but it is what it is. And then you should also know that both of the starting receivers for Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, have been ruled out already. It's kind of a relief. At least we know they're not going to be questionable or game time decisions. I hate those where you're waiting until kickoff to decide. So Julio and A.J. Brown, you can sit them. This begs the question. I know we covered this on our booms and our must start videos. Chris, any interesting guys like Chester Rogers or Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who are now the starting receivers for Tennessee?
I mean, if you're desperate, and we've had this question a few times in our Discord, and I always told people, everybody likes Westbrook, the shiny new thing, but Chester Rogers has been running as the number 3 all year. So you got to think he's going to be the number 1. So if I had to pick, I like Rogers a little more, but if you're in a deep league and you're desperate, yeah, they're going to have to get some targets, but I wouldn't want to have to trust either of them, to be honest.
No, really, to me, it's you'd have to be really, you have no better options. Like, don't just pick up Westbrook. Yeah, he scored last week. It doesn't mean he'll score again this week. The Jets actually doing a really good job limiting wide receiver production. So just because somebody is starting doesn't mean that they'll be productive. Let me just say that. But the other thing is both Giants receivers, Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, are out. Maybe Kenny Golladay does something. That would be quite a feat. Maybe Saquon Barkley just has a bigger game. It's a tough matchup though, going against the Saints. So there's that. And we're gonna get into the questions now. I'm assuming we have a whole bunch lined up. Are we ready?
We are ready. We already have a ton of questions coming in. Appreciate it, guys. We're gonna get through these things as quickly as we can. Try to get to as many as we can. We did get a super chat question already, so don't forget, guys, if you want to make sure your question gets to the front of the line, you can hit that little $sign, and whatever you want to contribute is great. It helps support the channel. If you don't want to, no big deal. We will do our best to get to your questions anyways. So Byzinski, super chat, thank you so much, is asking a trade question, which we love trade questions. Would you trade Russell Wilson for Justin Herbert so that you can stack Herbert with Mike Williams?
Okay, so the concept of stacking, like to me, that's alone isn't a reason to make a trade because that is more effective in best ball and, maybe even dynasty if you want to look at it that way. But I wouldn't do it just for that reason. Do you think Herbert's going to be better than Russell Wilson the rest of the season? It's close. I mean, that's kind of an even swap. I mean, I don't think you're necessarily gaining. Wilson's going to have more ups and downs. Herbert, to me, honestly, I have Herbert slightly ahead of Russ Wilson. Just because that Seahawks offense is just so up and down. I mean, there'll be a week where Russ has 4 touchdowns. There'll be a week where he has, 1 touchdown and less than 200 yards. It's kind of a wash for me, though. I wouldn't do it just so I can say you have the stack, though. But I think you could do that, and with Herbert, you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't do it just to stack. I think it's really close. It's a fair swap. If you want to do it just so you have that stack, that's fine, but I wouldn't have that be the deciding factor. But I think it's a very fair one. And then another super chat from Byzinski. Thank you so much. Wow, right off the bat. He needs 1 in PPR. Emmanuel Sanders, I'm going to assume Brandon Cooks because he wrote Cooks, or Robbie Anderson. Yeah, these are wide receivers. So Emmanuel Sanders, Brandon Cooks, or Robbie Anderson, PPR. He needs 1.
Between those choices, it can't be Anderson. We've seen how barely used he's been in the offense. I know there's a talk, and again, you take coach speak for what it's worth. It's like, oh, we got to get him more involved. Okay, do it. Just do it. But also, it's not his decision. The coach can say, yeah, we're going to get more involved. It's Sam Darnold who has to decide to throw it to him. And Robbie Anderson actually has to be open. He has a shot. It seems like a good matchup with Dallas, but you can't start him over Cooks, even though Cooks looks like he has a bad matchup. I think we've seen at this point, Cooks is pretty much quarterback proof in Houston because he's actually done something in Houston. But also, I don't think the matchup really matters because his target share is so huge. There's nobody else to throw to in Houston. Just through volume alone, you have to think Cooks outweighs Anderson every week, no matter the matchup. So I think it can't be Anderson. Sanders is interesting because of the matchup, but again, I think you'd have to go Cooks because he's the clear number 1 on his team, and Sanders is at best the number 2.
Yeah, I said it on our must-start wide receiver videos. If you guys haven't checked it out, I had Brandon Cooks as a must-start. The matchup isn't great, but it doesn't matter for like Pierre said, when you're getting 10, 11, 14, 15 targets, you don't need like a high catch rate. You don't need, you can overcome a bad matchup. So for me, Cooks is an every week must start right now. So definitely Cooks as well. Appreciate the super chats. All right. Apologies. I'm going to mispronounce your last name. I'm going to do my best. Kevin Rogie. I don't know. I'll call you Rogie because that's what we call my puppy. So that gives me warm, fuzzy feelings. Devonta Smith or Brandon Ayuk in standard scoring?
Standard scoring? Well, I'd say in PPR, it's easily Ayuk. In standard, I think the hope for Smith, going against Kansas City is that they're going to have to pass a lot. He gets in the end zone, he makes a big play, but Kansas City actually has a pretty good secondary. I know they're giving up, a lot of points. Kansas City tends to do that because they get into shootouts. I just don't know right now if I feel comfortable with Smith over a guy like Ayuk, who we saw get more involved. So my gut is saying Ayuk right now. And I think he's a pretty solid start this week based on matchup too, because going against defense that's actually giving up a lot of points too.
Yeah, I like Ayuk here, especially, Kittle is a game time decision. And if he sits, that will really help Ayuk as well. Then we got another super chat from Blessed Films. Might have to check them out. Sounds interesting. Should I get rid of Miles Sanders and Robert Woods?
Well, it depends. Get rid of how? Like just drop them? No. I'm guessing he means trade them away. Okay, so I'll give the short version of what I think about Miles Sanders in 2021. I didn't draft him anywhere, best ball, anywhere at all, and I'm in a lot of leagues, and I just don't think he's going to live up to expectations. So would I trade Miles Sanders? Yes, absolutely. I'd get what you can for him. This is not the best time to trade him after this last week is kind of like selling low, but you probably should have sold a couple of weeks ago, but who knew? Robert Woods, this goes to the rest of season projected value. Chris, you've done a lot of research on this too. It takes a few weeks to kind of stabilize, what's going to happen, right? Is it 5 weeks for a receiver? Is it 6 weeks that what they are is kind of what they're going to be?
It's actually longer for a receiver, but I mean, you obviously can't wait 10 plus weeks to figure out what the receiver is. So
I think he is. Okay, look, we knew the Cup Stafford connection could be good. I didn't think it would be that good. I didn't think he'd perform that much. With Woods, here's the difference. And actually, there was a really good article just written up on Rotoballer by Steve Ribeiro. I know because I just reviewed it, and it's talking about the way he's being used, and it has to do with average depth of target. Woods was better because of the Goff-led offense, because they use him closer to the line of scrimmage, right? They'll use him on the end arounds and handoffs, and they'll throw it to him on screens, and they'll throw it to him on those short intermediate routes. Stafford likes to sling it, all right? And you know what? McVay, here's the key. McVay likes to sling it, and they couldn't do that with Goff. He didn't feel comfortable with Goff doing that. And so now he's got Cup running free down the middle of the field. He's going to target him, and they're not going to need Robert Woods as much because Cup is just being so productive. So long story short, I don't think we're going to see Robert Woods kind of go back to what he was last year or the year before. So for both those guys, you're kind of selling low, but at the same time, there's probably somebody in your league who thinks they're going to be what they were on draft day because it's only 3 weeks in. So to me, I would get rid of them, but don't sell too low. You know what I mean? Don't sell Miles Sanders by trading him for Elijah Mitchell because you think he's going to break out. That's a big gamble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely don't drop them if that's what you meant by getting rid of them. I would package them, maybe try to package them together to get, a really good wide receiver, a really good running back. But you just got to hope that it gets better for both those guys. All right, Grind for Fun streamer. Another super chat. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Is it weird I trade Hunt for Evans even though I have Godwin? Can I start both week in and week out in half PPR in a 14-team league?
Yeah, I don't think it's weird at all if you're part of one of the best passing offenses in the league. We talk about stacks like quarterback receiver. There's nothing wrong with getting 2 receivers on one of the best offenses. Are they both going to go off every week? No. But are both of your other receivers going to go off every week? No. So to me, I don't look too much to that unless I happen to have like 3 or 4 guys from the same offense all in the same starting lineup. Then that's a little much, right? Because then you're too invested. But I don't have a problem with that. Do you?
No, I think in half PPR, I do tend to lean a little more running back, and Hunt's been really good. But if you want to go Evans, like if your running backs are really good and you don't need Hunt and you want to go Evans, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think having Evans Godwin on the same team, that's not an issue. Now, the question is Evans better than Hunt, in fantasy? Is that more valuable? That depends on your roster and all that. So if you want more details on that, jump in our Discord, because I'm pretty sure the link is somewhere in our description below here, right?
It all is. Right, it's down there.
You jump in the Discord and then ask that question in the any of the channels we have.
There you go. All right, William Varela, another super chat. Wow, thank you so much. Jacoby Myers or Devonta Smith, full PPR?
Full PPR, it makes it a little tougher. I still got to go with Smith. Look, I think Jacoby Myers is a target hog there in New England, but I predict 2 things for this coming weekend for the Patriots Bucks. Number 1, pain for the Patriots. And number 2, that offense is just going to get shellacked. I think Brady's going to really be out for vengeance. I think the whole team is going to get behind him. Mac Jones struggled last week. We know that if that Patriots offense is going to get going, it's through the run game first. And we know Damian Harris struggled last week. against the Saints because they have a really good run defense. Guess what? The Bucs have a better run defense. They're shutting running backs down 3.25 yards per carry. Harris is going to get shut down. They're going to be in pass-only mode. I think that actually makes it worse. I think there's going to be interceptions. I think there's going to be sacks. I think the Patriots are going to really struggle to score any points. So I take a chance on Smith.
Yeah, I like Smith too. Against KC, you know one thing, the Eagles are going to have to throw it a lot. It's going to be a shootout. So give me him in the upside. All right, Byzinski, another super chat. Again, his third one. Wow, thank you so much, my friend. He needs 2 in PPR. Robert Woods, Deontay Johnson, Devonta Smith. Needs 2 of those.
All right. Well, we both know Deontay Johnson has got to be one.
Yeah, especially with Claypool out. He's got to be one.
Right. He would be one probably anyways. With Claypool out, he's a clear start. Okay, so now we're back to Woods or Devonta Smith. We got a lot of questions about both these guys already, haven't we? With Woods, I could see a case for starting him this week because you think there's going to be a lot of passing against Arizona. But again, there's a ceiling floor debate here. I think Woods has the higher floor because he's going to get targeted. Smith, we've seen already what the floor is last week and the week before. He had like 24 yards. Do you need to take a chance on a guy having a big week like Smith, or do you just want a guy who you feel will get you a few points, and that's probably Woods? So to me, that's it. You know, well, we always say, because I see your reaction, because what are you going to go with, floor or ceiling? You going to the guy who could have a big week, or the guy who you know won't have a big week?
I don't know if we can say Woods won't have it. He's going to have some big weeks. Like if Cooper Kupp keeps doing what he's doing, none of these questions even matter because all it comes down to is, did you draft Cooper Kupp or not? I mean, he's averaging over 30 fantasy points a game. That would be, like 2018 or 2019, whatever year it was, Christian McCaffrey levels, where it doesn't even matter. These questions don't matter because you either have Cooper Kupp or you don't. But that being said, I've benched Woods in every league I have him this week. Granted, I didn't bench him for Devonta Smith, but I think if I had Devonta Smith, I would, because again, this game, it's going to be a high-scoring game. There's going to be lots of opportunities in the passing game. And we've seen the Rams, it doesn't matter. Stafford has monster games, and Woods is still barely involved. So I just can't trust Woods right now. I would go to Devonta Smith.
Yep.
All right, we have another super chat from Grind for Fun streamer. Thank you. This is kind of a tough question, but what week do you think Michael Carter will step up? Hey.
Well, I think the better question is, will he ever step up? And by step up, you mean as far as fantasy relevant? I will say there's one very deep league where I'm throwing him in as a flex play just because I have so many injuries and I'm kind of, it's like a what the heck flex because it looks pretty obvious now that, Tevin Coleman is kind of done. Ty Johnson, he's effective at times, but he's getting limited run. We thought he might be the guy and he's not. There really isn't a guy because there really isn't an offense. I mean, that's kind of how it is. So this week, I think, is kind of a proving ground for him because the Titans don't have a very fierce defense. And so let's see what he does, if anything. He's shown flashes. So, and you know what? Looking at the schedule, because I don't remember the Jets schedule offhand, next week gets the Falcons. That's another really good test. If he's done nothing those those next 2 games, then they have a bye week. So you're not starting him then the week after against New England. And then they get the Bengals, the Colts, the Bills, kind of hit or miss there. So I would say a lot of times rookies, they do tend to kind of come out, in the second half. I don't think it's going to happen in week 7. It might be week 8. But again, we're guessing here. We're totally guessing what week. So I would say, I would look to the next 2 weeks to see what he does. And that will tell you a lot as far as future value. And then by then, I would say after week 8, if he still isn't really heavily involved, might not happen.
Yeah, that's the thing here. It might not happen. This Jets offense isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. That's for sure. So, all right, Igor, again, apologies. Katia Zinski, Daryl Henderson, or Cortland Sutton. He didn't say it. Don't forget, guys, we need to know PPR, non-PPR, because it makes a big difference. But we'll just assume PPR because that's what most people play in.
Even if it's half PPR, even if it's standard, I don't care. It's Cortland Sutton. I mean, I know he was down two of the first 3 weeks. He hasn't done much. He had that one big week against a weak opponent.
Week 1 coming off ACL injury, you can't. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, but last week was a letdown, right?
Yeah, last week was.
Why would they pass the ball to him when they're winning 26-0 against a hapless Jets team?
Yeah.
So what? He's gonna get a lot of targets this week. They're gonna need him. KJ Hamler's out. Gordon's banged up. I think this is a Sutton week. I think I had him as a must start in one of our videos, so it's Sutton for sure for me.
Yeah, I agree. Sutton. All right, we got another super chat from Sonic Speedy 0. PPR needs a flex. Wow. Okay. Justin Jefferson. How is he a flex?
The flex.
Debo, DeAndre Swift, Darren Waller, or Mike Evans. Wow.
Okay, wait. So you're saying he can only start one of those guys?
I guess. Apparently.
Is this like a 14 league or
4 teams, 6 teams? I don't know. So I mean, it's man. I can't bench Justin Jefferson in PPR. It's Justin Jefferson for me. I can't bench him in PPR. I like Swift.
Imagine like if Waller's in the flex conversation, who you're starting at tight end? Like, do you have Kelsey and Waller? And then how did that happen? There's like so many questions that are now raised.
Seriously.
I guess if I had to pick one of those, it would be Jefferson.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Jefferson's. I mean, a lot of these guys are must starts, but Jefferson definitely. And yeah, what is your tight end Kelsey? Because that's the only guy I would start over Waller at tight end. So wow. All right, another super chat from Mike. Appreciate it. Should I trade DeAndre Swift for Stephon Diggs in full PPR? He's got Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Jamal Williams. Those other running backs don't even matter. So those are basically his running backs. His wide receivers are Ruggs, Cooks, DJ Moore, and McLaurin.
So you definitely want the Stephon Diggs. I mean, I would take Stephon Diggs anyways because we know he's, clear cut top 10 wide receiver. The only way he isn't a top 10 wide receiver this year in fantasy is injury to him or Allen. DeAndre Swift is always banged up. I know he's been, point wise doing really good, but there's going to be a lot of inconsistency there. A lot of that fueled by touchdowns and, game script where they're dumping the ball off to him. So I know it's always tempting to have the young running back, but Diggs is going to be more consistent, more productive. And it sounds like you're fine with Taylor and Chubb at running back. And you could probably use another solid wide receiver.
Yeah, Diggs for me. And I don't know if you guys hear the crazy noise behind me. There's an air show going on by me. So don't worry. We're not being invaded or anything like that. It's safe. All right, Anton Montes. Am I overthinking this? Miles Sanders or Zach Moss half PPR?
Well, no, because I would start. Just wait for it. This week, maybe not every week, I would start Zach Moss.
I think you got.
I know, Chris.
No,
put the water down. You're gonna do a spit take. You're gonna.
No, sadly, I think I agree with you. I mean, if last week was the week where the Eagles should have come out, they should have ran the ball, right? They didn't. Now you got to think it's going to be a game where they're going to be losing. Last I saw, they were 7-point underdogs at home, which is never good. I think you got to roll. Crazy as it sounds, I think you got to roll Zach Moss. So I agree with you, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah, we can't think game script's going to be in Sanders' favor. It could have been last week. They didn't even try to run the ball. They might want to run the ball. They're not going to be able to necessarily in this game. But also, look, Moss out-touched Singletary 16-13 last week, 13 carries, 60 yards, 3 touchdowns last 2 games. He's never going to be a high-volume running back. But in that offense, he doesn't need to be. He's going to get the chances, and they're going against Houston. So this is a great week to fire him up, fire up Cole Beasley, fire up Emmanuel Sanders. So I think Moss is a kind of low end, but he's an RB2 this week.
Yeah. All right, Michael O'Grady, is Tunyon a good play with MVS out, or should I try to grab Knox or Gesicki off waivers?
If he's a good play, it doesn't have anything to do with MVS. They have totally different roles. It's not like those targets go to Tunyon all of a sudden. So I don't think that matters. Tunyon is what he is. He's mostly touchdown dependent. Gesicki is kind of the opposite. He's not going to score many touchdowns, if at all, but he'll get more targets based on the way Brissett was targeting him. I might be tempted to go with him. The Colts are just okay, but they're banged up on offense. This could be kind of a tooth and nail kind of match. So Between the two, yeah, I might go Gesicki.
Yeah, I like Gesicki too. I mean, Tannehill always has a chance for a touchdown. But like you said, Brissett, I think 18 targets or 16 targets or 18 targets the last two games with Brissett. Brissett loves those tight ends. Even I remember back with the Colts, it was like Doyle and whoever they had like three tight ends back then. Trey Burton
or somebody.
Yeah, so I agree. All right, Byzinski, another super chat, man, appreciate it. Would you trade Robert Woods for AJ Brown and PPR? Yes, I would definitely do that. If you don't need AJ Brown for the next 2 weeks, I would 100% do that.
And there's so many people who are fading. Oh, should I trade AJ Brown? Why? Why would you sell low on a guy who's injured? He's going to miss like another week, maybe. This isn't a serious injury. This isn't Michael Thomas where you don't know if he's going to come back. Like, don't sell on AJ Brown. That's the wrong time to do it. You should be offering up somebody to try to buy low in other leagues where you don't have AJ Brown. Let me just say with Zizki or with anybody else, look, we love and appreciate the love of the super chats. Hey, put that money, get a Patreon and membership. Yes. Same cost. You will get your own 2-hour session with us on Sunday morning leading up to game time and other benefits. So check that out. Appreciate the super chats. But again, you're paying the same thing. Consider becoming a patron.
That's a good point for $4.99 a month. So Byzinski, we appreciate it. You've done like 4 super chats, but for less than you've done the super chats, you can just join us on Sunday morning. And there's only like it's a very small group and we answer every question. And that's for the whole month. That's not just that's for the whole month, right? That's for the whole month. So yeah, check that out below, guys. If you guys are dropping super chats, you might want to just do that instead. And then we have another super chat from Nathan Hyman. Appreciate it. In half PPR, should he trade Cortland Sutton and JD McKissick for Javonte Williams?
Look, I like Javonte Williams, and I know I talked him up in the preseason, potential league winner at running back, but you're giving up 2 for 1. Like McKissick can maybe kind of a throw in there. Cortland Sutton is a pretty solid, I think going to become a pretty solid wide receiver too. Javonte right now is going to be kind of a hit or miss RB2. Yeah, Gordon gets banged up. He's already banged up, but it's just a lot of risk there. And I think Sutton is a good enough shape there. I wouldn't do that. I would rather keep Sutton.
Yeah, I think like Javonte is what he could become, but Sutton is already here. And you're getting that every week, at least wide receiver 2. I really do think like he's going to be a top 15 wide receiver this year. So no, that's a no for me. All right, DH, what's up, DH? Good to see you. Always supporting the channel. Appreciate it. Should he flex Corey Davis, Damian Harris, J.D. McKissick, Tony Pollard, Gesicki, or Higbee in PPR? Oh, this is easy for me, but let's hear from you.
Oh, it's easily the first one. I know everyone else is predicting the Corey Davis revenge breakout game, whatever, but yeah, it's got to be Corey Davis because Elijah Moore is out. The Jets offenses look terrible, but Tennessee very susceptible in the secondary. Davis is getting still targets and nothing else. He's getting the targets. So it's got to be Corey Davis.
Yeah, I really like Corey Davis this week in PPR, especially. Love him there. All right, Durko04, half PPR. Should he flex? Your boy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. My boy, Zach Moss. Or Dollar Bills boy, I guess. I don't know if Dollar Bills here. Henry Ruggs. CEH, Zach Moss, or Henry Ruggs in half PPR?
We can take Ruggs off that list. Like I know he'll go for a big play, but Chargers secondary is really good, and that's pure boom bust right there. You don't need to do that when you have solid running back choices. So Zach Moss or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know I just said I like Zach Moss, and I really don't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I think in this matchup you can still go with CEH.
Yeah.
I don't like saying, but I mean, at least he showed something last week.
Yeah. Okay. I don't really like any of those options, to be honest, but yeah, CEH probably is the play, unfortunately. Chase the Base. Good to see you. Always commenting on our videos in here on the live stream. Appreciate it. Don't appreciate that you play in standard scoring, but you got to do what you got to do. So standard scoring, he has to sit 2 of Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, CEH, Cortland Sutton, or Brandon Cooks. Standard scoring. So two of them have to be on the bench.
Well, I mean, those are all good choices. I'm I'm going to start out by probably, even though it is standard scoring, I still would take CEH off the list among those guys because those are all pretty solid choices. Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, it's standard scoring. So
yeah,
because the thing, like this is how I always think about standard scoring. That's why I hate it. You give a guy like Brandon Cooks, or let's take a guy like Cortland. Let's take Brandon Cooks. He's in a tough matchup. Let's say he gets 6 catches for 70, 80 yards. That's 13 or 14 points in PPR. You're like, yeah, okay. All right. Even if he gets 7 or 8 catches, right? That's 15, 16 points in PPR. You're okay with that. But it's only 7 or 8 points in standard scoring, right? So it's like, at least with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like he has a better chance of, just because of the carries. I mean, but even maybe not. I don't know. I just dislike standard scoring so much. It's just, I get it that some leagues still do it and you have to play in them, and like home leagues are like that, but it's just, I just hate it. Like Amari Cooper. Like Amari Cooper could get 20 yards this week or something, right? And a touchdown. I don't know.
Well, we'll say that in standard, touchdown upside matters more for sure. Of course, touchdowns are so hard to predict. You can't. But who do you think has the best shot there? So like DJ Moore, I'm kind of down on DJ Moore, honestly. And you're talking about standard scoring. I think I would scratch him off the list too, because people don't realize Saints have a really good defense. Lattimore's back. I kind of don't feel I'm talking about Carolina. Carolina's playing Dallas.
But you're still right, because they played Dallas and Trayvon Diggs.
They're playing Diggs. That's what I'm thinking of. Trayvon Diggs has been a beast.
He's been a beast. He's going to shadow him. I mean, he's not going to be on him 100% of the snaps because he doesn't shadow into the slot, which DJ Moore doesn't play a lot in the slot these days, but he's probably still will. And sometimes Dallas does play zone and he won't shadow him, but he'll be on him like 70 to 80% of the snaps. So definitely I scratch Moore off just because your other options are so good. And then I guess Edwards-Helaire, but man, I hate sitting a running back in standard scoring. Because like you said, the Chiefs could throw a pass to Tyreek Hill. He gets PI in the end zone. The ball's at the one. They give it to CEH. He has a touchdown. That's 6 points right there. Those wide receivers need 60 plus 60 yards just to match that. So that's why it's so hard for me to bench a running back in standard. But
yeah, the thing is, and this is why I'm down on CEH compared to everybody else in general, is he hasn't been scoring touchdowns at this big rate. He did last week. That was his first touchdown of the year. And that was a receiving touchdown. Okay. Last year he had 4 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. He's not a touchdown machine, which is why he's not producing like people thought. So go with a receiver, who could make a big play. And so again, I'm down on Moore because look at how the Eagles were shut down, all their receivers by Dallas. The Dallas defense, I'm not saying they're good, but maybe not as bad as we thought they would be. And Diggs is becoming a stud. I think he's going to be all over Moore. So
yeah. All right, we have another super chat. Don't forget, guys, for $4.99 a month, you can join us every Sunday morning. You don't have to. That's a whole month. The whole month. Appreciate the super chats. We appreciate it, but you can actually save money and join us the entire month and get your questions answered every Sunday morning. Anyways, Reggae Vivo. Trade Hawkinson for Stephon Diggs? Yes. Unless I mean, I can't even. Yes, to me, this is an easy yes.
I was going to, as soon as you said trade Hawkins, I was going to say no. And then for Diggs, well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
You have to.
You don't want to have to stream tight end, but if you're getting Diggs, do it.
It's worth it when you're getting Diggs. Trust me, I'm streaming tight ends in 3 or 4 leagues, and it's horrible. But if I could trade one of my non-streaming tight ends for Stephon Diggs, I would do it in a heartbeat. All right. Juan Santos needs 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham, Antonio Brown, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. I don't know what the scoring is, but to me, Nick Chubb's got to be your flex, I guess, because he can't be your wide receiver. He's you have to start Nick Chubb every week, right?
I mean, you start Nick Chubb every week, but especially this week, it's a good matchup. You're definitely starting Nick Chubb. So I like Odell Beckham this week, but the other choices sounded pretty good. So what are they again?
Allen Robinson and AB, because he needs a wide receiver now.
I'm taking Allen Robinson off the list. Sorry, it's not.
I know.
Over those other guys, sorry. So we're down between Antonio Brown or
Odell.
That's close for me, honestly, because Odell looked really good. Chris, you got him as a must start. Or no, as a boom, I think this week, potential boom play. I like him this week. Minnesota secondary, very susceptible. But are you starting him over Antonio Brown because we know Gronk is out? They're going to be passing a ton. Look, Antonio Brown was a Patriot for a minute too. He might have some revenge in his heart there. Oh man, it's tough. I would lean Odell.
Yeah, I lean Odell too. The thing about Antonio Brown is we know he can boom at any time, but the guy gets 7 targets max. That's like his max. He's never had more than 7. He's only had more than 7 targets twice with the Bucs, unless you count Week 17 last year when Evans played like a quarter and Godwin didn't play at all, and Gronk didn't play at all. So, yeah, he can always boom, but so can Odell. And I liked what I saw from Odell last week. And with no Jarvis Landry, he's probably in line for 10 targets in this one. So I'm going to go Odell. All right, Rosemary Brown. Full PPR, needs 2 for the flex. Zach Moss, boy, a lot of Zach Moss questions. Miles Sanders, a lot of Miles Sanders questions. Robert Woods, a lot of Robert Woods questions. Or Michael Pittman. So I'm just going to say right now, I think Michael Pittman's approaching must-start territory. He's got like a 36% target share over the last 2 weeks and like a 50% air yard share. So for me, Pittman definitely has got to be one of those. So needs one more for flex. Moss, Miles Sanders, or Woods. Full PPR.
Yeah, and that kind of relates to the last question. We're going to talk about Antonio Brown, who's the third receiver in his team, versus Odell Beckham, the first. You always want to prefer, I know matchups matter, but you prefer team target share. Who's getting the most percent of his team's targets? And it's Odell is clearly the number 1 receiver. So look at this comparison, right? Exact same thing. Michael Pittman's clearly the number 1 receiver in Indy. There's nobody even close. He's the alpha there. So you're going to start him whenever you can, unless you happen to have really good receivers ahead of him. Now, I'm going to take Sanders off the list. We're going to talk about him. So we got Moss.
Or Woods in PPR.
Or Woods. PPR is what makes it close, right? Yep. It's tough, and because I like Moss this week. Not crazy about Woods. I really think Moss has a lot better chance to score, but you never know because this could be a tough matchup. So, man, it's really, that's a tough one for me. I might, in full PPR, I might lean Woods.
That's where I was going to go, just because of full PPR. I mean, like the first 2 weeks, he did have 12 PPR points. It wasn't like he was horrible. It's just Kupp was scoring 30 plus every week. It's still a great offense, still a pass first offense. At some point, defenses are going to say, "Hey, we need to stop Cooper Kupp, right? Maybe we should double team Cooper Kupp." Like it's going to happen at some point. And Cooper Kupp, like I said, Kupp can't keep up this pace. If he does, he's going to have one of the biggest fantasy football seasons of all time, not just for wide receivers, of any position. So he's going to come back down to earth a little bit at some point. Not saying he's still going to be great. But I think at PPR, I would risk it with Woods.
I know we don't want to get off on this too much, but I agree with what you're saying. Look, we might all be shocked when all of a sudden Cooper Kupp isn't getting 200 yards a game and 3 touchdowns. And then all of a sudden Robert Woods will have a couple games where he outscores him. And like, what happened? Guess what? Teams figured it out. They adjusted. And because teams aren't game planning just for Cooper Kupp, because Kupp and Woods are kind of the same thing, right? As far as target share, they were almost dead even the last 2 years as far as target share. Why all of a sudden is Kupp getting it more often? Well, because Stafford's looking his way, because he's running wide open. Just the way it's being schemed up, defenses will finally figure out, okay, fine, we'll stop Cooper Kupp. We'll let Woods catch any of the line of scrimmage. And all of a sudden, Woods has a game where he catches 8 balls and Kupp catches 2. And then we're all going to be confused, scratching our heads. And then it's going to continue that way. So don't be shocked. And Woods hasn't been a complete non-factor. He's caught some passes. He just hasn't done a lot for fantasy. But again, we can't just pretend that Woods is, complete toast. Is he going to be what he was last year? No, I don't think so. But again, you don't want to sell too low and you don't want to just ignore him.
Yeah. All right. This is an interesting quarterback question. Jameel Briggs, Sam Darnold or Ryan Tannehill missing both his receivers?
It's Darnold. I mean, going against the Cowboys, they're going to need to pass it. He's got better options. I'm down on Tannehill this week. I don't see any reason to start Tannehill.
Yeah, without A.J. Brown and Julio, I got to go Darnold as well. And don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying it, if it's entertaining you, if we've answered your question, you're finding it helpful, just hit that like button. We appreciate it. All right, Abby Gill. Do you guys think, wow, I did not expect this question. Do you guys think Khalif Raymond from the Lions has a chance for a lot of targets in the future. Get going deep.
That's a good question because he kind of, stood out last week, but no, not really. I mean, this is kind of a desperation play just because he's a guy who got targeted because they have nobody else. I mean, really, they had nobody else. Tyrell Williams, is hurt. And that wide receiver room was really thin to begin with. Raymond has never been a guy who's done much. He's a journeyman. He's been with a few different teams. I mean, it's one of those games where he ran free because they weren't worried about him. So I don't think he's a guy that's going to have a lot of upside, really. I don't think that he's a guy you really need to worry about. There's other guys that I think might have more potential. I like Colin Johnson with the Giants. Of course, he's benefiting from injuries, but there's a lot of other receivers I think that are more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe in like an insanely deep dynasty league, but even then, no, not really. All right. This one seems pretty easy to me, but let's hear what you have to say. Chris Styles, CeeDee Lamb, or Odell Beckham?
Still got to be CeeDee Lamb. Look, I know Lamb didn't do much last week. That was last week. Lamb, to me, is a locked in. You start him every week, no matter what.
Yeah, to me, Lamb's an every week must start. All right, LMS 93, PPR, Woods or Pittman? Woods or Pittman?
I'm going to go with Pittman. I mean, Woods is not an absolute must sit, as we've already seen. But, yeah, we like Pittman in general, like Pittman this week. I know Xavier Howard is there. He's a really good corner, but it's not a shadow situation. And, we've seen teams have had just a little bit of success against the Dolphins lately. So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, Pittman definitely. All right, Oscar Saka. Again, apologies if I mispronounced your last name or your first name, but I don't think I did. Our first Chuba Hubbard question: full PPR, Hubbard or Allen Robinson?
That's interesting. You have Chuba as a must start, and I agree with you because he's going to get the touches. Allen Robinson is just a big enigma wrapped in a mystery, and we don't know what to expect. Look, it's the Lions. I get it. They got to fix a lot of problems on there. There's just a lot of issues. It's not Robinson himself. It's not even Fields, right? I mean, he's a rookie. He's going to have some issues. There's a whole lot of issues. It's the offense itself. So I'm going to go with Hubbard. He's going to get the touches for sure. Allen Robinson, we don't even know how many targets he might get. 3 straight games with nothing. And it wasn't even because of Justin Fields. With Andy Dalton on quarterback, he was doing nothing. Again, not his own fault. It's just this offense is a mess. Nagy is, his seat is on fire practically.
Yeah, got to go with Chuba. He's going to get probably 15 carries and 5+ targets, especially with DJ Moore going against Diggs. You got to think there's going to be more Sam Darnold dump offs. All right, Jack Hunter, Tunyon or Gesicki, which I think we did this and we both picked Gesicki, right? We did that.
Yeah, pretty much. There was 3 tight ends, and I think we chose Gesicki over Tunyon. So go with Gesicki, especially in full PPR.
And then here's an interesting one: Tim Patrick or Robert Woods?
That's interesting. I'm tempted to go Patrick. Like I said, Hamler's out. I said I'm tempted. I didn't say I'm doing it. No, I think you have to keep Robert Woods in there. I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick outproduced him because he has the last couple of weeks. But
like last week, what did he have? He had that one big catch for like 40 yards, and the week before he had a touchdown. So, right. But it's more than Robert Woods has been doing, I guess. But man,
at least he has scored a touchdown. Actually, Woods
did score a touchdown week 1.
He scored. Well, yeah, Tim Patrick scored first 2 weeks, and last week he had 98 yards. So he's producing. But I think I go with Woods.
I think 40 of those 50 of those yards came on one play in like garbage time too. It was like in garbage time. But anyways, not the Bengals. The Broncos are going to have to probably throw more in this game than they normally do because they're not going to be, they've outscored their opponents like 76-26 so far this year. That's not going to be the case with the Ravens. So I still got to go Robert Woods. I can't put Tim Patrick in over him. I just can't. All right, Hector Gonzalez, drop Ronald Jones for Le'Veon Bell. Yes or no?
I wouldn't drop anyone for Le'Veon Bell. Sorry. I mean, look, you can drop Ronald Jones, yeah, but I wouldn't pick up Le'Veon Bell. There's got to be somebody else out there, you know. Well, maybe not. If you're looking at Le'Veon Bell, maybe not. But yeah, look, you can ignore Le'Veon Bell. He's done. And if you need somebody, feel free to drop Ronald Jones too.
Yeah, not for Bell. Not for Bell. All right, Joey Sparacino. Again, apologies if I mispronounce your name. Gaskin, Fuller, or Jared Cook. Wow, for his flex.
I don't think you would start Jared Cook over those two guys.
No.
Gaskin or Fuller? Will Fuller?
Yeah. Will. I assume. I don't know any other Fuller, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Will.
You can't love Will Fuller. I mean, he's still been missing practices, not really fully a part of this offense, which isn't that great anyways. Of course, there's Gaskin. At least Gaskin, you know, is going to get the touches. So I don't think you can start Fuller for now.
No, don't love it, but you got to go Gaskin. Big Lenny, a.k.a. Clapping Cheeks, a.k.a. Austin, what's up? Has a question. Lazard, who's kind of interesting now, Renfro, or Nikki Aki Westbrook Aki Nikki PPR. I know that's not his name, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. All right. I go with Renfro. He's going to get the targets. We're not too enamored with a shiny new thing in Tennessee just because he's technically starting. Nah, I'm not doing it over Renfro.
You're not going with your boy Lazard with MVS out?
He's not my boy anymore. Sorry. He's lost those privileges. Yeah, it's like a 1 season window, and if you don't hit, that's it. You're in the dead to he's in the dead to me pile now because he's let me down too long.
I know Renfro had a nice game last week, but man. I mean,
who would you take over him?
I really want to say Lazard, but
really? But look, there's no to me at this point. Devonta Adams, that's it. I don't care about the other Packers receivers because Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about the other Packers receivers. Oh, Randall Cobb's come back. Nobody cares, right? He doesn't care. He's not throwing it to anybody except for Devonta Adams enough that it matters. So he's not going to be a thing. MVS will catch a deep pass once every 5 games. He's not a thing. Amari Rodgers never became a thing. There's no thing.
All right. I mean, Renfro's definitely safer. So yeah, there you go. He's safer. All right, we have another super chat. Appreciate it. Dante Jones. Which reminds me again, you guys can just join for $4.99 a month. Don't even have to do a super chat, and you get us Sunday morning to yourselves for an entire month. So you can actually save money. But we appreciate the super chats as well. All right. Which defense? Bears, Lions, Dolphins, or Cowboys?
Oh, okay. We can scratch the Cowboys off there. Look, their defense looked good last week, but that doesn't mean we're going to go crazy and start them in fantasy. Let me check because you're going to make me think of all these matchups now offhand. So tell me again, all the teams besides the Cowboys.
Bears have Detroit, so that's probably the best. Lions have Chicago. That's also a good matchup. I mean, those defenses are playing each other. Those are both pretty good matchups. And then your
Bears, Dolphins, and who?
Well, Cowboys, but we scratch off Cowboys.
And then the Lions, and that's it?
Yeah, Bears, Lions, Dolphins.
So it's either between the Bears or the Dolphins. I actually go with the Dolphins, not because they're necessarily a better defense, but, at least they're good for 1 turnover because they have that turnover streak. And the Colts, I don't know if y'all saw, but Quentin Nelson as an IR, that's not good for them. Carson Wentz still on 2 bad ankles. Jonathan Taylor, questionable. They're hurting on offense, and they're not putting up a lot of points. So they're good for a turnover or 2. Carson Wentz is definitely going to get sacked a few times. So go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins. And then he asked, or the Broncos. I dropped the Broncos in 1 league. I'm not playing the Broncos against Lamar Jackson. I know that defense has been really good, but I'm not playing them against Lamar Jackson. Sorry.
I mean, normally, yeah, Broncos to me are top 10 defense the rest of the season. In this particular week, yeah, I go Dolphins over Broncos. But generally speaking, then you want to try to get Broncos back after this week. And they have a really good fantasy playoff schedule, by the way. So you definitely want them for week 14 on.
All right, Eric Suarez, Michael Carter, Devin Singletary, or Sonny Michel? PPR.
No, thank you.
Right?
Okay, not Singletary, not Michel, because Darrell Henderson's back. So I think we can safely bench Michel.
Yeah, but Carter.
I would take a chance on Carter. He's got a decent matchup.
I guess. How many touches does Michael Carter even have this
year? He's got a couple.
My thing with Michel is if I knew Darrell Henderson was going back to his 90+% snap roll, then obviously you can't play Michel. But Michel actually looked pretty good last week against a tough Bucs defense. I do wonder if it's going to be a little more. I don't think it's going to be 50-50. I think it might be more like 70-30. But is 30% of Michel in this offense better than 40% of Carter in the Jets? And I think it might be.
Okay, so I'll take a chance on Carter because, the last 2 weeks, to answer your question, because week 1, he was barely involved, 4 carries, 2 targets. In week 2, 11 carries, 59 yards. But again, this is New England. They lost 25-6, right? So they couldn't really run the ball. And that was the game where, Zach Wilson was getting picked off like crazy. And then last week, they lost 26-0. Couldn't really establish the run either. He got 9 carries. Tennessee, without their top 2 wideouts, it could be at least a close enough game where Carter gets double-digit carries because he got double-digit carries almost over the last 2 weeks. And, he hasn't looked bad. So I take a chance he, gets more involved, rips off a big run, scores a touchdown maybe. Tennessee defense doesn't scare me.
All right. I mean, I don't love any, like you're desperate when those are your options anyway. So
yeah.
Stinger, what's up, Stinger? Stinger, gotta bring the tough questions. Will Fuller or Kadarius Toney in PPR? Oof.
I was almost worried there wasn't going to be a giant involved in that question. So, I mean, come on, Kadarius Toney. Are we really thinking about him? Like, no, he should only be on rosters of dynasty leagues.
Yeah, but the thing is, like we saw, my worry with Will Fuller. I mean, my worry with Kadarius Toney is he's only going to play like 15% of the snaps, and when he comes out there, it's like a wide receiver screen or an end around, right? Like the defense knows, like, oh, they're throwing a screen to Kadarius Toney or something. It's like the Giants are like outsmarting themselves, right? Like, ooh, let's put Kadarius Toney in and run this play, and the defense will never know. But we only put Kadarius Toney in when we're running these plays, because the Giants have no creativity. Sorry, Stinger. But Will Fuller, has barely been able to practice. I don't know what his snap count was last week, but it wasn't a ton. I mean, I guess you got to go with Fuller, but I don't love it either. Just don't love. I mean, man, you don't have a better option than those two.
It's not too late. You can pick up, waivers have already run. So here's what you do. Drop Toney, pick up Colin Johnson. He's going to get more targets than Toney. He did something last week. I'm a fan of Johnson. He's going to get red zone looks because he's 6'6". So add Colin Johnson. That way you have a giant in your lineup still, and he's actually going to get you maybe some points.
There you go. All right, J. Hay 514, Antonio Gibson, DJ Moore, or Chris Godwin standard scoring.
It's Godwin. It's got to be Godwin. Like, I know it's hard to say not Antonio Gibson, but he's banged up again. I mean, he had that one huge play last week, but otherwise running hasn't been that effective. So I know it's tempting to just go with Gibson, especially in standard, but man, you can't bench Godwin in this matchup, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, Brady's going to go nuts for sure. And guys, we've had over 100 people watching this stream the whole time now, and we've got 32 likes. Come on, it takes half a second. Go give us that like, push us out to more people. Get us out there in the YouTube algorithm. We appreciate it. All right, Michael K, CPA. So if you guys are looking for a CPA, maybe check out Michael K. I don't know if he's any good, but he's asking a fantasy football question. So at least you have something you can chat about fantasy football while he's doing your taxes. So PPR, flex, Jacoby Myers, Tim Patrick, or Emmanuel Sanders.
Look, he's watching the end game. He's got to be a pretty smart guy. So
yeah, there you go.
Jacoby Myers, I already said, don't love him this week. Emmanuel Sanders, you got to like the matchup. I would prefer Sanders. And the second one, say again,
It's Myers, Patrick, or Emmanuel Sanders.
Patrick. We kind of talked about Patrick already. I mean, I don't hate Patrick this week. I'm just saying he's the wide receiver 2 there. They're going to probably have to pass the ball quite a bit. He's been productive. I like Tim Patrick in general. Sanders had a nice week though. And man, against Houston, I think you almost have to go with Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, I know Beasley is technically the Bills wide receiver 2, but he's like the slot, short yardage, short A-dot guy. Sanders is like the wide receiver 2 on the outside, and against Houston, I can't bench that at all. So I think Big Lenny gave us a thumbs down. Appreciate that, Big Lenny. I don't know if it was Big Lenny. Somebody gave us a thumbs down now. All right. B flat sole sacks. PPR double flex. So pick 2, I guess. So he needs 2 flexes between Allen Robinson, Antonio Brown, or Devonta Smith.
I'm going to bench Allen Robinson over those 2 guys.
Oh, this is – how did we get here?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. That's it. To the wood with Robinson. Look, I already said it. It's a Bears issue. It's not a Robinson issue. It's not a Fields issue even. It's just the Bears until they fire Matt Nagy. Fingers crossed any day. Look, if they say for sure, I know we heard rumblings, right? There's rumors that maybe Bill Lazor will take over play calling again, but that's not official for this week, is it?
Well, Matt Nagy hasn't officially said anything official, so it's probably one of those things where we won't know. Unless like a Rappaport or a Adam Schefter or a Jay Glazer report comes out in the morning that says, yeah, he's giving up play calling. But until he does, I agree. You got to bench Allen Robinson. It's a mess.
Got to do it.
All right, Chris Styles, Mike Williams or Brandon Ayuk?
Ooh, Mike Williams. I mean, you got to keep rolling him out. And this is actually going to be a tougher matchup than people think, tougher matchup than he's had all year. The Raiders have actually a good secondary. It's hard to say that, but it's true. This year they actually do. But you can't keep Williams on the bench the way he's going. So I like Ayuk, and he has the better matchup technically, but you've got to go with the guy. He's getting targeted a ton. You got to go with Williams.
Yeah. Williams is a must start as well right now. He's actually catching passes way closer to the line of scrimmage than he ever has in his entire career. They're using him totally differently. He's not just a big play guy. So he's a must start every week for me, for sure. All right, blank slate 2000. Start 3 in standard scoring. I love these standard scoring questions. Allen Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Corey Davis. Not only that, it's a standard scoring wide receiver question. All right. Allen Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Corey Davis, Cortland Sutton, Antonio Brown, or Brandon Cooks. Needs 3 of those. Standard scoring.
That's a good set of choices. So you can't go wrong with any of those. I honestly am going to start by scratching off Allen Robinson for reasons we already said, especially if it's standard scoring. So not Robinson. Cooks is a little risky in non-PPR. I'm gonna say yes to Brandon Ayuk. Right, we're gonna start him. Well, I am.
For me, the one out of this that I'm absolutely starting is Cortland Sutton because, he's the big play guy, big body around the goal line. So for me, he's like a must. So that's one. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I was going to say Sutton too. I was going to go with the middle 3, the Sutton, Davis, and Ayuk.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
I mean, don't hate Antonio Brown, but those other guys, Ayuk maybe technically is the number 2. Who knows there target wise, I guess. But the guy who's number 1 in New York is Corey Davis. The guy who's number 1 in Denver. And then I like Ayuk. He's got a great matchup. So,
yeah. All right, another quarterback question from John Cavazos. Again, apologies if I mispronounce your name. Ryan Tannehill or Daniel Jones?
I mean, down on Tannehill this week, but down on Jones too. I mean, he's not going to have a favorable matchup this week. Going to get sacked, cough it up a couple times. So I'm benching Jones. He will. I mean, he's good for a fumble at least every game. So now, I know the Jones thing has been nice the first couple of weeks, but I think it comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, I think obviously worried about Tannehill without his top 2 receivers, and they might just run Henry 50 times. But yeah, I can't play Daniel Jones against Saints. No way. Okay, should I should I trade Calvin Ridley and Kareem Hunt for Cooper Kupp and Terry McLaurin? That's an easy yes for me, but let's hear what you have to say.
Easy yes. Look, I love Ridley. I have some high hopes he would be the top fantasy receiver. It's not happening, but he's still a stud. Even if Kupp does regress, you're not losing anything there. And then McLaurin for Hunt, you don't necessarily want to trade away a starting running back for a receiver all the time, but this is an RB2 at best, right? He's not an RB1 unless Chubb is hurt. You're getting a clear cut wide receiver 1. So yeah, you do that.
Yeah. All right. End low. Start 1 in the flex. Darrell Henderson or Brandon Ayuk, half PPR.
It's got to be Ayuk.
Yeah, I agree. Ayuk there. All right. Hex Vids. Should I trade Mike Williams for Aaron Jones in PPR? His running backs are Barkley, Gaskins, and Elijah Mitchell. So he would be getting Aaron Jones for Mike Williams in PPR.
Yes, you get Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones looking like maybe top 5 running back the rest of this season. He's a stud. If you can trade even as good as Mike Williams has been, I'm not going to say, this is the sell high point for him. I think Mike Williams will have a good season, but he's not going to be Aaron Jones good. And again, that top tier of running back is always going to be more valuable than that top tier receiver, just because the depth, falls off so much. And do you really want Gaskin in your starting lineup every week? Not anymore.
No. Yeah, get Aaron Jones for sure. Oh boy, Kenneth Jones. Do I start Allen Robinson or Tim Patrick in the flex?
Oh man.
What has happened? What has happened to fantasy football in 2021? How is this happening right now?
It happens all the time, right? Yeah, there's always some guy that you just thought was so safe. So he's quarterback proof. Yeah, but he's not coach proof. You can do that. You can do that. Look, he has it for 3 straight weeks. He has outproduced Allen Robinson. You can't deny that. I know it's the Lions, but again, that's not the issue. It's not like the Bears have, been facing like a murderer's row of opponents. That's not the issue. So, unless you really feel good about Robinson this week, which I don't, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, it sucks, but I think I would. And, hopefully Allen Robinson goes off on your bench, because then it's like, okay, now I can just start him every week. But, until then, yeah. All right, Smooth B. Pick 2 in PPR. Allen Robinson, who's been in almost every question. Devonta Smith, who's been in almost every question. Robert Woods, who's been in almost every question. And Jalen Waddle. He needs 2. I'm just going to say right off the bat, I think in PPR, Waddle's a great start. He's like one of the – right now with Brissett, he's like a high floor, right? 10 catches for 50 yards guy. He's like Jamison Crowder right now. So I like him.
That's worth something, better than Robinson. So – let's do what we've been doing and take off A-Rob and put Waddle in. So it's Devonta Smith or who?
Robert Woods.
And then we probably answered this a million times. It depends on what you're looking for. I think I give this slight edge in this situation based on who else you have. I give the slight edge to Woods. But
I was going to say Smith. I think Smith has a big ceiling in this game, and I don't know if Woods does. So I go Smith Waddle personally.
It's just because it doesn't seem like, did he say those are flex or they're just starting receivers? It's like his top 2 receivers?
I don't know. It just says pick 2 in PPR.
Okay, well, I guess we don't really know. See, I'm assuming those are like his receivers, because Allen Robinson should be your wide receiver 1, right? So I'm thinking, well, if that's all you got, you want someone to floor, right? You don't want to get shut out there with Devonta Smith if it does happen, but it's close. It's close. Again, it's that debate, Woods and Smith. We kind of had the argument earlier. So got to go with which way your gut tells you. Smooth B, and say what up to Greg Nice for us.
All right, Spencer Stern just traded Ridley and Edwards-Helaire for Chubb and A.J. Brown. Did I win this? I think you did. How do you feel?
For Edwards-Helaire and Chubb?
Yes.
No, he traded
Ridley and Edwards-Helaire for Chubb and A.J. Brown.
Oh, and okay. Yeah, that's a win for you.
Yeah.
I love Ridley, but
All right, Mario Dominguez. Oh, here we go. Hunter Renfrow or Tim Patrick? Wow, a lot of Tim Patrick questions.
I like Tim Patrick. Renfro's fine, but again, the ceiling is kind of limited, tough matchup. So he's okay if you have nothing better, like the last question we had with Renfrow. But yeah, go with Tim Patrick.
Yeah, definitely Tim Patrick. Jared Martinez, AB or Deontay Johnson?
Oh, it's definitely Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, definitely Deontay Johnson. Andrew Brown, Cole Beasley or Chuba Hubbard, PPR for his flex?
Chuba. It's gotta be Chuba.
I agree. PPR. I do like Cole Beasley, but no, Chuba Hubbard definitely this week.
You don't have to be worried in PPR because Chuba's getting the targets. He was targeted 5 times last week, and that was not even the full game, right? McCaffrey did play at least a few minutes. Could have had a touchdown if he caught it. And so he's going to be the pass catching back. It's not like he's going to get replaced on passing downs because they don't have anybody else. I'm not worried about Royce Freeman right now. So yeah, Hubbard is fine in PPR.
Okay. Ricardo Jean, Latavius Murray or Kenyon Drake standard scoring?
This is one of those questions where you really want to ask like who's on the waiver wire because you don't want to start Drake, especially it looks this weekend like it might be Josh Jacobs coming back. We don't know, but it seems like it. So you got Jacobs, and Gruden has already come out and said, "Oh, Peyton Barber, we want to give him a shot based on what he did last week." So now Drake is all of a sudden the RB3 on that team. So you can't start Drake. Not that I love your other option, but I guess Latavius Murray. But really, honestly, I want to know who's on the waiver wire for your running back.
Yeah, standard scoring. I don't know.
Got a shot to score a touchdown, at least Murray does.
Yeah, I guess Murray. With Jacobs probably coming back, I guess Murray. Okay, here we go. Teflon John, Allen Robinson or Robert Woods in PPR?
Still going to say no to Allen Robinson, no matter how many times y'all ask. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess Woods here. Don't like it, but I guess Woods. All right, Trippy Philly. Start one for wide receiver and flex. Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, Chuba, Myles Gaskin, or Cordero Patterson standard scoring?
Standard scoring. Let's scratch Patterson off. I know he scored a couple touchdowns, but still. I can't love Gaskin either. I mean, of those choices, Chuba is fine. So the first two, who's the second? I think the second choice was one.
So we got Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, Chuba, Myles Gaskin. Standard scoring.
I mean, in standard, obviously that limits Deontay Johnson's value, but I'd still say Deontay Johnson is the top choice out of all those guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Deontay Johnson at wide receiver for sure. And then I'd probably go Chuba at your flex in standard.
Yeah, Chuba.
All right. I think we did that. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, Jay Millie, pick two. Kenny Golladay, Antonio Brown, Robbie Anderson.
Antonio Brown would be first choice. It's a risk. Obviously, it's a risk with Anderson, but I'd rather take a chance on him than Golladay. I just would.
Oh, man. I mean, Antonio Brown definitely is one of them.
Roll the dice. What are you going to get out of Golladay, honestly, anyways? He's been limited, that bad matchup.
What are you going to get from Robbie Anderson? He had one game where he caught a 57-yard touchdown. That's like basically all you got.
At least he's done that. Kenny Golladay hasn't done
that. I don't know. I hate to say it, but I think I go Golladay. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, my thought process here, we know the Cowboys have one really good corner, and that's Diggs, right? Trevon Diggs. He'll probably be on DJ Moore. They're going to ignore Robbie Anderson because he hasn't been involved. They're going to pass a lot because Cowboys can score. Anderson might get more targets. They know he hasn't been targeted. I wouldn't be shocked if Anderson delivers something this week. It's not a guarantee, obviously, but I feel at least there's a chance. I don't really feel a lot of hope for Galladay having a big game.
Well, no, neither one of them have a big game, probably. All right, Lucas Maciel, again, apologies if I mispronounced your name, needs 2 between Allen Robinson, going to be in every question tonight, I guess. Antonio Brown, also going to be in every question. Brandon Ayuk, also going to be in every question. And Devonta Smith. Half PPR, needs 2 of those.
Okay, so we'll go back to the same thing. No to Allen Robinson. Yes to Brandon Ayuk. Yes to Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Chinks Drugs. Okay. Williams or Jefferson? Is this Mike Williams? Is this Mike Williams? So Mike Williams or Justin Jefferson? I'm going to assume that's the question. Is that who you're asking here? You can respond.
If it's Justin Jefferson, then it's Justin Jefferson.
Man, I can't. I don't want to bench Justin Jefferson, but I really don't want to bench Mike Williams either.
No, but I had Jefferson as a top 10 receiver this week. I have Mike Williams a little bit outside the top 10. He's been doing great, but Jefferson is the guy there.
Yeah. Geez. I mean, can you flex Mike Williams or something? All right, Fanta. Hey, guys, Sutton or AB for my flex?
Going Sutton. Think he's going to get a nice share of targets this game. You can trust him. Again, don't worry about last week. Last week was just one of those games that didn't need to pass a lot.
I agree. All right, Joel A. Pick one. Oh, my goodness. Same players in every question. AB, Devonta Smith, or Waddle?
It's got to be Smith over Waddle because, I mean, just a lot better chance to score. Even if it's full PPR, I'd still take the chance on Smith.
Yeah, I mean, I like Waddle. I like Waddle in PPR, but he's more of a high floor play. I'll take a chance on Smith. All right. Again, apologies if I mispronounced your name. I'm probably going to. Tua Placencia. Would you trade Deandre Swift for Tyree Hill in full PPR?
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. All right, Hakuna Matata. DJ Moore or Mike Evans in the flex, half PPR?
DJ Moore, Mike Evans. I like Evans this week. I know I'm probably going to be down. In fact, I know for a fact I'm more down on him this week than most everybody else is. I'm okay with that. Like, Evans has been fine. Nothing to worry about with him. We know Brady's going to throw the ball about 100 times this week just to try to rack up, not just to stick it to New England, but also he's going to surpass Drew Brees for that record. So I'm loving all three. You know, we've been saying no to Antonio Brown and some of these just because there's other receivers who are going to have a higher target share. So we don't dislike Antonio Brown, but you have to love Godwin. You know, Godwin's a must start, and Evans to me is, for the most part, a must start.
Yeah, I'm going to start going to some questions for guys we haven't talked about yet. Because we've talked about a lot of the same guys over and over. So you guys know our feeling on these guys. But here's one for standard scoring: Cordero Patterson or Mike Davis?
This is where we go back and forth, right? You're holding out hope for Mike Davis. I'm kind of giving up on him. Did you say it was standard scoring?
Yeah, standard scoring.
I mean, if it's PPR, it has to be, Patterson, because he's got to get all the receptions. Look, okay, against Washington, terrible secondary for whatever reason, but still a really, really good front seven. So I'm gonna lean Patterson just because he's the guy getting the touchdown so far, and he's actually getting more yards than Davis. Davis just hasn't been doing much. So I'm gonna stick with Patterson. And I know you're probably gonna go Davis.
Yeah, because it's standard. But yeah, I'd probably go Davis, but I don't. To me, it's yeah, I'm gonna go Davis, but if it was PPR, definitely Patterson. I've given up on Davis in PPR. This brings us to our next one: Jay Proven, Mike Davis or Edwards-Helaire in full PPR.
Easily Edwards-Helaire, and I'm not even big on Edwards-Helaire, but he's the guy. He's the only guy really there in KC. I just finished saying about how he isn't scoring that many touchdowns. He's scoring more than Mike Davis is in Atlanta because Mike Davis has, let me see. I just want to double check my figures here. 0 touchdowns this year with Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's got to be Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Terry R. Do you start D-Hop versus Ramsey, or do you go with Waddle in full PPR?
This is where you don't outsmart yourself. You get too cute because of the matchups. I like Waddle, and yeah, I get Hopkins might have a down game, but we have seen guys go against tough corners. The elite receivers can do this, right? They don't get shut down by guys like Ramsey. And I get Hopkins wasn't full health, and he got kind of left out, not shut down, but left out of the offense last week. I think he's going to show up this week. So you can't bench Hopkins for a guy like Waddle. If you were saying, okay, well, Hopkins, and I have a guy like, I want to say Mike Williams because we love Mike Williams. So say I have a guy like maybe Devonta Smith, or Corey Davis. Then I'd think about it. But no, you got to keep Hopkins in there.
Yeah. All right, here's one. De La Nota TV, Antonio Brown or Emmanuel Sanders in PPR?
That's close. I know Sanders has the better matchup, but I'll go with Antonio Brown because I think he's going to see more action.
Yeah, especially with Gronk out, I like Antonio Brown a little bit more.
Right.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to find ones. Okay, here's one. We've talked about one of these guys, but not the other one. Movie Goer X, Lockett or Brandon Ayuk?
So Lockett, we weren't sure. He was banged up, right? Obviously, he got hurt at the end of the last game, limited, but now it seems like he's good to go, right? He should be fine for this game.
Yeah, as far as I know, he practiced and he should be good to go.
So as much as I like Ayuk, I don't think you can bench Lockett for him. I would keep Lockett in there.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta roll with Lockett. If he's out there, you gotta roll with him.
Yeah.
All right, here's one. Chamua. Again, apologies if I mispronounced. PPR, Chase Edmonds or Kareem Hunt?
I think I mentioned I like just Edmonds this week, but not more than Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt looked good. Kareem Hunt does not have a bad matchup, so you roll with Hunt.
Yeah, definitely Kareem Hunt. Let's see. Okay, Michael Dobbs, Rondell Moore, who we haven't talked about today, Devin Singletary, or Devontae Parker in the flex?
To me, that's easily Rondell Moore because, again, we're not going to look at what happened last week. We're going to look at this week where you just talked about Jalen Ramsey going to be all over DeAndre Hopkins. Not going to be on Rondell Moore. Like, I know the Rams have a good secondary in general, but Moore is a guy who kind of finds those seams. He's using all over the field. I talked about this on the boom plays. I think it was Rondell Moore is a guy I'm looking at. He excels against zone coverage. Rams use a lot of that. I think Moore will get more involved. So I'm going with Moore. There's just not a lot of hope for Devontae Parker and Singletary. I mean, I can't think of many scenarios where you start Singletary ever.
Yeah. All right. Here's the interesting. Well, okay. Jason Mua, Tyreek Hill, or Justin Jefferson. I mean, I can't bench Tyreek Hill. I know he hasn't been great the last 2 weeks, but I can't bench him. How about you?
And his other receiver is who?
Justin Jefferson.
Well, like who else? Is this like a one receiver league or? Okay, yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Here's an interesting one. Tristan Welch asking a trade question. Should I trade Barkley for Ridley and Herbert?
Barkley for Ridley and Herbert?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends who your quarterback is. I mean, if Herbert's a big upgrade, if you're struggling at quarterback, you could do that. Yeah, I think I might do that. I mean, of course, it depends on your roster makeup. You can't, it's hard to blindly say with trades, like, is that equal comparable value? Yes. I know you're a Barkley fan, but I mean, you got to agree getting Ridley and Herbert. That's pretty good.
It's good if your quarterback is terrible.
Right.
I never like to trade for a quarterback, especially in a one quarterback league, unless I'm like rolling out Big Ben every week because there's nobody on waivers. I'd rather just stream somebody off of waivers. You can do, like, are you going to get Justin Herbert production? No, but you can get good enough production. Unless you're if you're in like a super flex or 2 QB league, then absolutely the Herbert side. And then again, yeah, like to your point, it comes down to who would your running backs be and who would your wide receivers be. So in a vacuum, probably the Ridley and Herbert side.
Yeah, that depends on context. I mean, we don't know who your quarterback is, or if you didn't do that trade. I'm assuming if you're trying to trade for Herbert, it's because you need a quarterback. So, without knowing, I would say, yeah, you can do that. By the way, we got how much time we have left, Chris, as far as
Well, we
today?
started a little late, so we'll go like 10 minutes. We'll go 10 minutes here, rapid fire. So we'll just give you guys the answers with no really explanation. Let's see. Tyler Higbee or Dawson Knox in PPR?
I'm going to go with Knox. I think I had Higbee as a must sit. Not feeling him in this game. Knox going against Houston. I go Knox.
Yeah, I agree. Rondale Moore or Damian Harris in PPR?
The Damian Harris questions I feel are just to troll me at this point. So I'm going to go with Rondale Moore.
Yeah. Don't love it, but give me the potential upside of Rondale Moore. Washington defense or Tennessee defense?
I'm almost never going to pick the Tennessee defense because they just don't force turnovers, like, ever. So Washington.
Ugh. I go Tennessee here. I mean, at least they're playing the Jets. It's good sacks. Washington defense has been bad. So, all right. Chuba or Darrell Henderson?
Easily Chuba.
Yeah, I agree. Chuba. I think we did Sutton or Odell. We said, I don't know. Did we do Sutton or Odell? Did we do that one? Sutton or Odell?
It's possible, but I think we both agree Sutton.
Yeah. D-Hop or Terry McLaurin?
Now that's interesting. That's kind of like what we were just talking about. Hopkins, if you have an option that's, comparable or better, you go with McLaurin. Not because I'm sure that Hopkins will have a terrible game, but yeah, McLaurin he's the guy there. So go with McLaurin.
All right, here's an interesting question. Taylor Heineke or Derek Carr?
That is interesting because you know what? I have Taylor Heineke higher this week only because Derek Carr in his career has done terrible against the Chargers, and the Chargers so far top 5 defense against the pass. They're becoming kind of a reverse funnel defense where they're giving up a lot of yards in the ground and not through the air. So I think that Carr disappoints finally. I think Heineke going against Atlanta, you know what? He has the potential to do something. I go with Heineke.
Carr's playing so well. But I know Heineke, he does give you some points with his legs, which I always like. So I might go with him too, actually, this week. But, man, tough to bench Derek Carr right now. All right, Jonathan Taylor or Antonio Gibson?
I really thought this was going to be a Taylor smash week, and now he's questionable. And then now Quentin Nelson is hurt. Wentz is still hurt. So it could just be a bad game. But I'm still going to go with Taylor, even though it's not ideal because Gibson's also banged up. It's close. It's close. This is more of a gut feel. I'm leaning Taylor.
Yeah, this is close. I don't really love either. Man, with Quentin Nelson out, I think I got to go Gibson, and at least Gibson will catch 2 passes. So it's really close, though. Really close. All right, Saints D or Tennessee D? I think we both agree. Saints.
Definitely Saints.
Hakuna Matata. We are not skipping questions. In fact, we answered your question. You just got to be patient, buddy. Be patient, guys. Look how many comments we have, and we're trying to get to all these questions. Just be a little patient. We got another super chat. Wilson Rivera. By the way, Wilson, I think this is your second one. Appreciate it. For the amount you spent, again, you could just join the Patreon, and you could get us, not have to worry about all these other questions, and every Sunday morning get us for an entire month. But let's get to your question really quick. Can only start 2 PPR. Henderson, Gibson, or Moss? Start 2.
Gibson's got to be one of them. Yeah, Henderson might be limited. Michelle is now officially in the mix. So in a game that might not have a chance for them to really establish the run, I go with Moss this week.
You just hate Henderson.
I do not hate him. I don't love him, but no.
I got it.
Look, he's good, but it's just game. I feel like game script is going to favor Buffalo a lot more.
But in PPR, I mean, you need Moss to fall in the end zone. I got to go Gibson and Henderson. I mean, again, even if Henderson's not back to the 90% snap share, which he probably won't be, I still got to think he's going to be out there like 70.
He's not really a pass catcher. And I think Michelle, they brought him in. He's going to actually catch more passes, I think, than Henderson.
I don't know. We'll see. I think you're still devastated by the Akers injury. So you'll never pick another Rams running back ever again.
That's very possible.
Let's see. Cordell Patterson or Leonard Fournette?
Well, you got to like Leonard Fournette this week, again, because Gio is out. Gronk is out, more opportunities to catch the ball. Rojo is still kind of the doghouse, so go Fournette.
Yeah, I like Fournette without Gio. Trevor Dupree, Waddle or Beasley, half PPR?
Yeah, both are kind of nice plays in PPR. Waddle, I think we both will say probably has a little bit higher ceiling.
Yeah. All right, here's one for you. Trey Sermon, Melvin Gordon, or Miles Sanders?
Not Miles Sanders. Look, because I think I had basically, I just want to avoid all 49er running backs at this point. Like, I'm just tired. I'm done, right? I'm just done with them because Trey Sermon, I feel like he hasn't really gotten his shot. And like, do we know if Elijah Mitchell's even going to play? Do we?
We don't know, but
so it's hard to answer.
They really helped Sermon. They really helped Sermon last week.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I just want to say forget Sermon, even though I don't want to say forget Sermon. So I'm going to say forget Sermon, and forget Sanders.
So Gordon, yeah, I agree. Gordon too. Gordon's getting. This is going to be a close game. Gordon's getting the bulk of the touches in close games. Actually, by the way, guys, I know Javonte is getting his touches, but he's been getting his touches in garbage time. Here's an interesting tight end one: Kyle Pitts or Dalton Schultz, PPR.
Look, everyone, okay, I say everyone, a lot of people I know calling for the Kyle Pitts breakout game. Didn't happen last week when we thought it might happen. I think it could happen this week. So I think you fire up Pitts and you hope for the best. At the very least, he is getting those targets.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, I'm not going to do that again. You got to go Pitts. Here we go. DJ Moore or Chuba Hubbard. A couple of teammates.
Wow. Okay, so how do you think this game is going to go? I could see if Dallas gets up big, maybe Hubbard just doesn't have enough opportunities and Moore does. Is this full PPR?
Yeah. Didn't say actually. Well, we'll assume PPR.
If it was non-PPR, I'd go with Chuba. If it's full PPR, I don't like it, but I might go DJ Moore, but probably it's close.
I like Chuba better. I know DJ Moore has been incredible, but I do really worry about Diggs shutting them down. And like I said, I think Chuba is going to get at least 3 catches, probably 15 carries. I like Chuba a little more this week. I know it's hard to bench DJ Moore, but Trayvon Diggs is legit. Oh, boy. Hurts or Dak?
Oh, I have Dak ranked higher.
I can't sit Dak for Hurts. As much as I love Hurts, I can't sit Hurts for Dak. How about Dak or Wilson?
Dak.
Yeah, Dak as well. Let's see. Where are these guys reading questions from? The YouTube chat? Where else are we? What do you think? We have somebody like feeding us questions? we're small time. We're small time over here. I'm literally scrolling through the YouTube chat. I have to scroll through all your guys' conversations to try to find questions that we haven't already answered. So it's not as easy as you guys might think. Let's see. We did that one.
While he's looking for another good question, let me just say one more time because we're getting close to the end. We can keep going for a little bit longer because this is fun. But guys, consider if you don't get your question answered or you still have more you want to talk about or things change, join us tomorrow morning. All you have to do is go to the Patreon page. It's what, $4.99, something like that, $4.99 a month. It's nothing. Okay. Buy us a beer, do that. There you go. Buy us a coffee. Actually, you know what? Buy us. I've said this before. Look, we're not big time yet, but once we get sponsored by Bang, this is the fuel that keeps Chris and I alive and able to do this. Bang, if you're listening, Yeah, will sponsor us. But until that happens, buy us a bang, buy us a coffee. That's all you're doing. You're supporting us so we can do this more and we can help you. You can join us Sunday mornings for 2 hours up until kickoff. We have extended conversations, answer all your questions. If you are a patron, that's all it takes. Click on the link, join, and then you don't have to fight with the crowd. You'll be part of the members.
All right, here's an A-Rob or Jacoby Myers. How low on A-Rob are we? A-Rob or Jacoby Myers?
All right, not that low. Here's where I think maybe the first time I'll say you start A-Rob.
Yeah. I don't know what. Okay, no name. You keep asking Jerry Jeudy with a question mark. I don't know what that question is. Is it Jerry Jeudy with a question mark? He's on IR probably till he's on IR. Probably won't be back till week 5 or 6 at the soonest, maybe even longer. I don't know what your question is. Should you pick him up? Yeah, especially if you have an IR spot, pick him up, put him in your IR spot. Yeah. Zach Moss or Cortland Sutton PPR, definitely Cortland Sutton. Doggy, Cordero Patterson or Fournette. Every time I come in this, I never get answered. We answered your question. You guys, just relax. Relax, you guys. Calm down. It's like you guys are all drinking bangs like us. You're all like hyped up, like, oh my God. We answered that question.
Is this a good segue to say, hey, if you want your question answered, become a Patreon and support us for doing this, and you get your question answered guaranteed every time. Go to the super chat and you jump the line. That's it.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to actually read some of these comments. These guys, they suck. They don't answer any questions. Then it's like, yeah, we answered your question 10 minutes ago, but you just don't have any patience. But hey, but you know what, guys? I'm joking around. I'm being funny or whatever. We really do appreciate you guys being on here. Like, it would really suck if we got on here. Like, I remember week 1, and don't worry, guys, we'll go longer. We'll go longer, so we're not cutting your time. But I do remember week 1 last year, or week 3 when we first started last year, we decided to do a live stream, and I think we had like 2 questions, and we were done in like 15 minutes. So this is way better. So we do appreciate you guys. But trust us, we are trying our best to get through as many questions as we can. It's not easy when you have, I don't know how many questions are in here, but here's a question. This is, oh man, I almost don't even want to ask you this question. Michael Carter or Trey Sermon?
Look, I'm not giving up on my Trey Sermon for the rest of this year. And maybe if Mitchell plays, then Sermon has a shot, but we don't know. And I hate Kyle Shanahan. I don't trust him. So I'm going to go with Michael Carter because he has a good matchup. I'm going like, I know. Hey, look, you talk about this all the time. You can't have bias. You have to be objective as possible. Look, objectively speaking, I think Carter, look, the touches might be the same. Who has a better match? Well, Seattle's not really doing very well as far as run defense, but Tennessee, they're not anything to worry about defensively. I'm going to go give Carter the slight edge to Carter.
I will say if Mitchell's out, I'll give I'll give Sermon another chance because Seattle is horrible against the run. But you couldn't have been happy about seeing Kyle Juszczyk out there, like getting first down snaps, getting goal line carries. It's like, this is not good. We did get another super chat. Thank you again, Alex. Thank you so much. But again, just a few more dollars. You can be with us every Sunday morning in our private chat. Just let you know. Check out the description. But let's get to a super chat. Pittman Jr. or Jacoby Myers? I think this is a pretty easy one. PPR.
Absolutely, Pittman.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. You absolutely should like Pittman, not just this week, but going forward. Myers is fine in full PPR, but he's got a bad matchup this week. So, hold on to him, but definitely start Pittman.
Yeah, definitely. What's up, Gus? Good to see you. Okay, here's an interesting one. PPR trade. He was offered Dalvin Cook, or this person was offered Dalvin Cook for Kupp. So gives up Kupp to get Dalvin Cook.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, who would have thought we would be having a Dalvin Cook for Cooper Kupp trade? This is crazy.
So, okay, again, and I'm glad. So you don't go back to, look at the fact that Dalvin Cook was the 2nd overall pick and Kupp was picked and run for. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Throw that out the window. Who cares? But you talk about a running back who, unless his injury happens to be serious, which it's not, because I think he's playing this week. Okay, so unless you're really worried about Cook's health long term, which I don't think we should be, you get the guy who's the top 5, top 2, maybe running back. You get him. Kupp, he's on fire, but is he really going to do this every game the rest of the season? He might wind up being one of the best receivers. You'd rather have a top 5 running back than a top 5 receiver objectively, because that gives you more options. It's easier to fill in at receiver. But I think you take Cook.
Yeah, you got to take Cook. Guy gets like 25 to 30 touches every single game. It doesn't matter. Game script doesn't matter. You got to take Cook. Okay, so I guess Chinks' question was a trade. So I scroll back down. I got to it now. So he's asking, should he trade Mike Williams for Justin Jefferson?
Okay. That makes more sense. Between the two, I'd rather have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I agree. Love Mike Williams, love what he's doing, but we know Justin Jefferson's a beast. He's the stud. He's the number one on that team. I want Justin Jefferson long term. Here we go. Beasley or Kenny Golladay?
I mean, Beasley could smash, but again, he's a 2-3 maybe receiver there. Golladay at least is assured more targets with both those receivers out. So even though I'm never going to be a fan of Golladay in New York, I was a big Golladay fan in Detroit, a couple of years ago. But this offense, even though I don't expect much from Golladay this week, I still think he's the safer play.
It was Wait, did you say Beasley?
No, I said Golladay.
Ooh, I got to go Beasley. Beasley's got that. At least got the high floor. Sorry, I was responding to somebody. We got a super chat but with no comments, so I was trying to see if he had a question or if he just really likes us
buying us a bang.
He just wants to buy us I get him for like 3 for $5.79, so that's about a bang. So we'll see if he has a question here. So Alex Stanny, apologies. If you have a question, I missed it. It's somewhere buried in the chat. So just type it in down here at the bottom. I'll see it and I'll get to it. There we go. There's his question. I see it now. I got it now. DJ Moore or DeAndre Hopkins? That's his question. DJ Moore or DeAndre Hopkins?
I get being somewhat worried about Hopkins. You got to start Hopkins, and not just blindly because I just told you McLaurin over Hopkins, but yeah, Hopkins over Moore because I'm kind of worried about Moore a little bit this week.
Yeah, you got to be worried about Hopkins, but you also got to be worried about Moore. And Hopkins is an absolute stud, right? So let's see. I don't think we've had any of these, most of these guys. Half PPR. So this is Austin Cryan. Half, again, apologies if I mispronounced your name. Although I think he has been crying in the chat about me not answering asking his question. So here you go. Just kidding, buddy. Half PPR. Juju, Robbie Anderson, Tyson Williams, Devonta Parker, or AJ Green. Never thought we'd have an AJ Green question in 2021, but here we are.
All right. Sorry. Something came up a little bit when I heard those names. Not Jude. Well, I mean, like Claypool's out.
Okay, Juju's not a bad play now with Claypool out because, I mean, I know Claypool is a totally different, they run totally different routes, but those targets have to go somewhere, right? I mean, and sure, Deontay Johnson's going to get his share and Najee will probably get his share, but that does give Juju a little bit better. I like him a little more, but yeah.
But if anybody, you're the one who says, "Oh, he's going to get 10 catches for 45 yards." Those targets, those catches don't go anywhere, and I'm finally seeing the light here with Juju in this offense, and I don't think it's even him. It's Big Ben. He's toast. But anyways, look, okay, so I'm not starting AJ Green. We'll cross that one out. Juju, maybe compared to the other guys. Who are the other choices again?
Juju, Robbie Anderson, Tyson Williams, or Devonta Parker.
I'm scratching Tyson Williams off the list because he's just not getting enough touches. Devonta Parker is just It would just be take a chance on Robbie Anderson or go with the safe floor. It's roll the dice and hope for a big play splash, from Robbie Anderson, or go with your 5 points from Juju. I mean,
hey, Juju can always score.
Has he? He hasn't this year.
I think he scored once.
Did he?
He scored once.
Look, I'd take the chance on Robbie Anderson this week.
Wow. All right. I go Juju, and I'm really low on Juju, but I still go Juju there. I mean, don't love any of those options, but I'll go Juju.
This will be the first time ever where you pick Juju and I don't.
Yes, that's true.
You're right. Juju had a rushing touchdown. That's right.
That's right. He had a rushing touchdown. Oh, geez. All right, here we go. Here's where we're at. Antonio Gibson or Chuba Hubbard, full PPR.
You still go Gibson. We both like Herbert this week, but yeah, you can't bench Gibson for.
Jameis Winston or Sam Darnold?
No. Oh, wait, we have to pick one.
You got to pick one.
Darnold.
Yeah, got to go Darnold. Let's see. All right, here's an interesting trade. DeAndre Swift and Noah Fant for Darren Waller and Tyson Williams.
I'd rather have Swift and Fant because sometimes we see his value is disappearing, not because of Le'Veon Bell coming back, because of Devonta Freeman. They're just not using him enough, which is weird because he seems to be the most talented running back there. But for some reason, Latavius Murray is still getting more carries than him. Lamar Jackson's still a guy. So I don't see that Williams is a guy you can plug and play in your running back lineup instead of DeAndre Swift. So, and there's not that big a fall off from Waller to Fant, I don't think, really. So,
I mean, there is, but the fall off from Tyson to Swift is way bigger. So,
right. So keep Swift in
the Swift side. All right, let's see. Stampede 24. He has a lineup with Mclaurin, Thielen, Sutton. Oh, what just happened? Do I even consider Corey Davis? No. I don't know what just happened, but no.
No, I wouldn't pull any of those guys for Davis.
So I don't know what happened, guys. It just scrolled on me for no reason, and now I can't find where I was. Great. Okay, here we go. I got it. We're back. All right, we're back. Would you trade Derrick Henry? This is an interesting one. This is Frank Chapp. Would you trade Derrick Henry, I assume Derrick Henry, for DeAndre Swift and Austin Eckler?
Wow. I mean, typically you don't trade a top 5 or top 1 running back with Derrick Henry, but you're getting 2 starters in exchange. I would probably do that.
Is that enough to make up for the 40-point Derrick Henry weeks every week?
I think so.
Yeah, I think this is, especially if it's PPR. If it's not PPR, then Swift and Eckler, their value goes down considerably.
That's true. Yeah.
If it's PPR, I would do it. If it's not, even in half PPR, I would take Derrick Henry because that's a big blow to Swift and Eckler. But if it's full PPR, I think that's enough to give up Derrick Henry. Assuming, of course, you're going to play both Swift and Eckler every week. Now, if you don't have a room for both of them, then don't do it. Like if you're in some really shallow, like 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, no flex league, don't do it. But all right, here we go. These Allen Robinson questions are hurting my heart. Allen Robinson or Pittman full PPR? This is Aaron Crow.
I mean, that's a tough question, right? Because we like Pittman this week. We don't like Allen Robinson. Is it enough that you prefer one? You wouldn't think you'd start Pittman over Robinson. Actually, I think I would this week.
I think I would too. I like what Pittman's doing there in Indy. Man, I just can't believe this is where we're at.
Oh,
jeez. Let's see. Scrolling down. Wow. Is this real? Jonathan Taylor or Kareem Hunt? 2021. What's going on in 2021?
I mean, I get that. If you look at last week, Kareem Hunt had a better week, but he's still the number 2 running back there, technically. Yeah. And there's issues with Taylor. We talked about it. Quentin Nelson's gone. Taylor's been banged up. As long as Taylor's a full go, like if you hear tomorrow that he's going to be limited or, is really questionable, but he still plays, then maybe you pull the plug. But no, I think you still have to keep Taylor in there.
Yeah, I got to roll with Taylor. PPR, Terrace Marshall or Antonio Brown, definitely AB for me. How about you?
Yeah, Brown. Like Marshall might have a nice game, but Antonio Brown, yeah, definitely.
Let's see. How going to do a few more here?
We're going to do a few more, and we're extending a little bit. Guys, again, we're trying to get through all of these, but as you can see, we're getting close to the 2-hour mark, and there's still so many questions we cannot get to. As much as we would love to absolutely just stay on for the rest of the night, our wives probably wouldn't be too happy with that. So we're saving it for tomorrow. Again, if you want to join that members only Zoom where we will answer all your questions in detail and just talk football, trades, anything you want, it's easy. Just join Patreon.
Yeah, so here's a good one. Chuba, Zach Moss, Marquise Brown. Pick one.
I mean, I don't like Moss better than Chuba, so I won't go that far. So I think I think you still go with Chuba. Like Brown could have a big game, or he could drop a bunch of touchdowns. Who knows? But go with Chuba. Go with the safe points.
I like Chuba. I think he's safer, but man, I mean, what's going on in 2021? Am I about to pick Marquise Brown? I mean, if he hadn't dropped those 2 touchdowns last week, he'd be like a top 5 fantasy receiver right now. I don't know. That's tough for me. I mean, Chuba's definitely safer, and I think he's got a decent ceiling, so probably Chuba. How about this one? Fant or Andrews?
I mean, they're pretty close. Those guys are always going to be kind of close. Depends which defense you think is going to be tougher. Let me say I'd probably go with Andrews for now.
Yeah. Andrews is one of those guys I can't ever bench him. All right, here's one because we actually got this in the Discord, which by the way, guys, if you don't have, $4.99 or whatever, which is totally fine, you can get in the Discord for free as well and ask questions in there. And we have a lot of good discussions in there throughout the week. This was actually an argument. I shouldn't say an argument, but like a debate we had today, Javonte Williams or Chuba in PPR. To me, it's like super easy, but there is actually like some debate about it. So,
I mean, right now it's got to be Chuba. After this week, from here on out, it'll be Javonte Williams. But right now, I think you still go Chuba. He's going to get almost all the touches.
Yeah, it's kind of for however long CMC is out, it's Chuba. Hopefully, it's only this week, but for however long.
Now, the exception would be Melvin Gordon. He's banged up. He has like a rib and some sort of an ankle or leg injury. We haven't heard he's going to be out because I remember earlier we had a question about Melvin Gordon. We both went with Melvin Gordon. Monitor tomorrow, which is why we also do our show Sunday morning, with all the latest news. If Melvin Gordon isn't going to play, well, then all of a sudden that changes things. And you put Javonte Williams in for sure. And obviously Gordon is out. And I don't think that's going to happen. But again, that's just something to watch.
All right, here's one. Robbie Henderson or Marquez Callaway?
Oh, that's our first Marquez Callaway question. And the answer is no. Sorry. I've fully pivoted away from him after loving him too much in the preseason. Chris, you didn't fall for the trap. Kudos to you.
Yeah, no, it's not Callaway. I don't really like Robbie Anderson, but I really don't like Marquez Callaway. All right, let's go one more. We'll do one more. Let's try one that okay. We love our quarterback questions. And this, how about this one? Tom Brady or Josh Allen?
Look, I get that Tom Brady wants to throw for 1,000 yards tomorrow. It's got to be Josh Allen. I have Josh Allen as the number 1 ranked quarterback this week. He's going against Houston. He's on a roll. It has to be Josh Allen.
Yeah. How do you have both those guys? Like you drafted Josh Allen in round like 4 or 5, and then you grab Brady in like round 8.
Hey, you know what? If it's not a 2 quarterback league, try trading one of those guys right now. I mean, why not get something in exchange? You're not going to be benching either one of them, hopefully, all year. If you want to have one guy just sitting on the bench, Tom Brady, the way he's going right now, try to trade and see what you can get for him. Do it.
Yeah. Anytime you could trade, if you're in a 1 QB league, anytime you could trade a QB for a player, especially a player you're going to play, that is a huge win for you in a 1 QB league. And we did get a super chat in, so we would definitely want to make sure we get to it. Jedi Koth, is it Koth? Koth? Is that a Star Wars reference? Jacoby Myers or Corey Davis standard scoring, he says standard PPR, so I'm going to assume PPR. Myers or Corey Davis?
I've been going Corey Davis. Like him this week as a possible breakout. Don't love Myers matchup, so standard it's easily Davis. Well, if it's PPR, I'd still Corey Davis.
Yeah, still Corey Davis. Like Jacoby Myers is nice in PPR. He's got, like I said, he's got that nice, he'll catch 7-8 passes for 40, 50 yards, 30 yards, whatever. He gives you that nice floor, but he's never going to have those monster, just those monster weeks. Whereas Corey Davis, we saw in week 1, he can catch a touchdown. He can rack up the yards. So I agree, Corey Davis. All right, guys. Well, yeah, this is just about 2 hours. Appreciate you all being here. Don't forget, hit that like button, please. Check out the channel if you haven't. If this is your first time seeing us, go check out the channel. Like Pierre said, if you put in a super chat, we really appreciate it. But like for the super chat that Jedi just did, he could have a whole month with us, the whole month for that 1 super chat. So definitely check that out. Check out the Discord below too. That's completely free. So if you don't have, money to burn, which totally understand that, check out the Discord. That's completely free. So Pierre, any final thoughts here before we go?
No, I appreciate all the questions, all the views. I mean, we love trying to help you guys out. Wish we could do this again all day, all night. But we will see some of you, our members, tomorrow morning for that. So again, if you're interested, just check out the description below. And we do every day put out a new video, sometimes two, tell you who our favorite booms bust, must start, must sit, talk about trades, everything you want to help you win in fantasy. That's why we're here. So join us all season long. Thanks for watching. And of course, good luck.